This week on La Liga World, we explore one of Seville's most emblematic neighbourhoods with the best of all possible guides, Betis keeper Fabrizio.
We discover the secret weapon of Deportivo de La Coruña, the Depor Clinic, the medical complex where the Galician club's players recuperate from their injuries.
And we close the programme in Catalonia, in the shop owned by Francisco Javier Sanchez Jara, a former player who has the honour of having played in Johan Cruyff's legendary Dream Team.
We've come down to Seville to get to know one of the city's most famous neighbourhoods, Triana. But we're not alone. We're in the company of the perfect guide, Betis keeper Fabrizio Augusto.
Well, here we are, having strolled around Triana. It's one of the most emblematic parts of the city, and as you can see, it's a beautiful place. It's a real privilege to be here. The people are very open and friendly. It's similar to the Canaries. They're friendly, funny, they enjoy life. They're really funny. I think the weather has something to do with it, and you have to be grateful for that. Well, this is Betis Street in the area of Triana. We've got our own street right next to the Guadalquivir River. There are plenty of great restaurants, and what more can you want?
Now Fabrizio feels like any other Betis player, but he's only in his second season at the club. After spells with Depor, Valladolid and Recreativo, the keeper from the Canary Islands arrived in Seville last summer, where he fought for his place with his colleague Casto. But in such a short time, he's already fallen in love with his new city and has a great relationship with the fans.
Everybody had told me about the amazing fans. The day of my presentation at the club, in training, everyone talked about the fans. And a teammate, Danny, who was adored here, and they've shown me the same. At the weekend, when they fill the ground, there's a passion. The people, well, they have a special feeling for this club, for Betis. They love this club. Hi, how are you doing? Enjoying a beautiful afternoon. Did you know this area? Of course. How could I not? It's Betis Street. I mean, come on. Yes, the people are really nice, really pleasant and open, and always motivating you. It's always nice when people treat you so well. It makes you feel at home.
But when you talk about football in Seville, you have to talk about the rivalry between two clubs. The derbies against Sevilla have made a big impression on Fabrizio since he signed for Betis.
They're very intense. Imagine, here it's Sevilla Betis, and for me it's like it was when I played Las Palmas against Tenerife. But here both teams are from the same city. They're both big clubs, they've got huge fan bases, and in every family there's always someone from Betis and someone from Sevilla. There's a real rivalry, but if you see one of the fans in the week before the derby, they always tell you that we've got to beat Sevilla. They're so passionate about it. For me, it's something really good to see, as long as it's a healthy rivalry.
It's one of the most longed-for clashes of the season. It's so important for the fans to beat their local rivals. But more than just the passion of the derby, the main goal for Betis this season is to survive for another campaign in the top flight.
The key to survival for us is to keep working as we've been doing so far. There's a lot of faith in the squad, in the manager, in the directors. The fans are behind us in everything, and we've got to continue with the same approach as so far. The fans are right behind us.
But we stopped talking about football to continue with our tour of Triana with our guide Fabrizio. It's time to discover where much of the passion of this city flows, the river Guadalquivir.
Well, it unites everything. You've got the area in the middle full of terraces for when the weather's good, and a lot of young people go out in this area to meet with friends, have a drink. And like I said, people here are very open. They spend all the time just messing about. We're Valladolid fans, and Betis too.
Our tour around Triana reaches its end. We say goodbye to Fabrizio, but we leave him in good hands, a group of Betis fans, and it looks like there's going to be a wedding.
The world of football isn't immune to the economic crisis which is affecting the world, and the game has to adapt to the changing circumstances. The clubs of La Liga BBVA are adopting measures with the objective of controlling their expenses and rationalising the management of their income to reach a sustainable situation. The Spanish game is following these measures, and clubs have been doing their homework.
There are a number of measures that clubs have been forced to take, and one of them obviously is to reduce the size of their squads. Also, they're trying to sign new players more economically, paying less wages, and looking for players at the end of their contracts or on loan arrangements.
Relying on players from the club's own youth systems is another way of reducing costs. For La Liga BBVA, this is nothing new. The Spanish game has always been strongly based on homegrown talent.
Es una de las soluciones, ¿no? Uno de los recursos, ¿no? Y en ese sentido, pues sí que es verdad que si
it's one of the solutions, one of the resources, and in this sense it's true that if we talk about reducing the size of our squads, it's because we can depend to an extent on the youth system, so that even if a player plays for the first 11, he can still be classed as a second-team player, earning second-team wages. We're seeing that clubs are doing this more and more, especially to cover injuries without having to sign new players.
De formar jugadores que les permitan recurrir a ellos sin tener que salir fuera a fichar.
Another measure which may be more and more important in the future to keep football sustainable and to minimise the effects of the crisis is to reduce salaries and shorten the length of contracts for players and technical staff.
En un futuro próximo, la dirección también nos puede llevar a una situación en la cual hay una presión a la baja sobre los salarios.
In the near future, we're going to see more pressure to lower players' salaries. We're seeing it already with players at the end of their contracts. The contracts are getting shorter. 60% of coaches have only got contracts until the end of the current season. They're working more in the short term and assuming minimum financial cost in the longest term possible.
La Liga BBVA, the best league in the world, is doing its homework. In a difficult period for the world economy, the Spanish game is adapting to the changing times with the objective of putting its accounts in order to help keep football as the greatest sport in the world.